Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
Good evening, I'm Riley Livingston, and you are watching MediaPlex News Now. Windsor homeowners will be seeing a 4.5% increase in property tax. City Council approved a new operating budget on Monday that includes a $21 million increase in spending. A portion of the overall increase is needed to cover salary increases, higher fuel costs, and inflation pressures. Now let's hear from our friends at Crime Stoppers with their weekly update.
The Windsor Police Services Arson Unit is seeking the public's assistance in identifying two suspects who intentionally set fire to a commercial building in the 300 block of Giles Boulevard East on Wednesday, March 29th at approximately 12:30 p.m. The structure sustained between $500,000 and $1 million in damage. Two men were observed leaving the scene in a stolen U-Haul truck when the fire first started. The truck was later located and seized as evidence. Police also believe that this U-Haul was involved in another crime in the city the day before the arson. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Windsor Police Service Arson Unit, or should you wish to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 519-258-TIPS or submit a tip online at catchcrooks.com. You could earn a cash reward of up to $2,000 if your information leads to an arrest. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
Let's head outside where Amelia Wilson is standing by with an early look at the weather. And besides the weather, Amelia, happy birthday!
Thanks to Riley. Right now it's relatively quiet and mild, but we do have a risk of thunderstorms and lightning later tonight with wind getting up to 50 miles an hour. Tonight's temperature will be as low as 8 and should rise to about 15 by morning. I'll be back with you later for our 3-day forecast. Back to you, Riley.
Let's hear from Prince about new wage increases in Ontario.
The minimum wage is currently $15.50 an hour and student minimum wage is $14.60 per hour. The minimum wage will increase to $16.55 an hour and the student minimum wage will increase to $15.60 an hour on October 1st, 2023. Rupinder Kaur is chef in Punjab Barbecue.
I'm excited about the rise in the minimum wage to $16.55 per hour. This will be a big difference in my income and help me support financially. This increase in the minimum wage is a step to a right direction and will help to address the issues of poverty and inequality in our province.
Sam Sondhi is working in grain processing company.
As a part-time worker in Ontario, I am very excited about the increase in minimum wage to $16.55 an hour. This increase will make a significant difference in my income, allowing me to afford basic necessities and improve my overall quality of life. It will also help to reduce financial stress and provide some relief to low-income workers who struggle to make ends meet. I am grateful to the government for recognizing the importance of a living wage and taking steps to improve the standard of living for workers like myself.
Ontario is $15.50 an hour and British Columbia is $15.65. Yukon's minimum wage of $16.77 is the highest of the country.
Today it's important to thank and appreciate any caregivers in your life. Donna Tuckwell reports.
Today is a day to recognize the many unsung heroes in the world. It's National Caregivers Day. At any given time, there are thousands of people caring for loved ones, long-term care residents, hospital patients, and children. Catherine Bordelin is the Director of Community Engagement and Advancement at Hospice of Windsor in Essex County.
So an organization like Hospice, we have about 120 staff, but we have over 500 active volunteers. We have far more volunteers than we have staff, and we actually couldn't operate without those volunteers.
Bordelin explains that being a caregiver is more than just physical care.
A caregiver can be a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Oftentimes we associate caregivers with providing physical care, but it can also be mental or emotional support. It can be a lot of different things.
If you are a caregiver, thank you. Thank you for what you do. I'm Donna Tuckwell for MediaPlex News.
Windsor's art scene is remarkable and it's only getting better. Rawad Kansoon reports.
Windsor had the lowest amount per capita for expenditures on the arts and culture of all the cities surveyed. In 2018, Windsor spent $1.04 per person on grants for the arts, heritage, and the festivals, according to the most recent data from Municipal Benchmarking Network Canada, which surveyed 8 cities across the nation. The Windsor Center for Film, Digital Media, and the Creative Arts launched an initiative to raise the art scene in the city.
Our goal is to grow jobs and talent in the region. A lot of times we have people going to Toronto. Windsor has a major brain drain to the urban areas, and we're hoping to keep talent here.
The center is hosting a Monday networking event open to everyone interested in arts and film. It's a drop-in event. They have a speaker every week, and it's for free. The event is trying to build a big chain of connections between artists in Windsor. The gathering is hosting art figures from Windsor every week.
It's a wonderful community where a lot of local businesses and homeowners and whatnot are willing to open their doors, have independent film crews in. Right now, in the last 3 or 4 years, there's a real good surge of people with an interest in filmmaking that are staying local versus moving to larger cities like Toronto and Vancouver or Montreal, or even over to the U.S. to Los Angeles or New York.
The Windsor Film Center moved recently to a new location, 664 Victoria Avenue, in a good building where there are different facilities such as studios, event spaces, community commons, and a theater. Windsor Center for Film, Digital Media, and Creative Arts is changing the scene by providing a hub of creativity and innovation. For the MediaPlex News, I am Rawat Consul.
Let's head back outside where Amelia is standing by with a guest. Amelia?
Thanks, Riley. I'm currently standing here with Zachary Bowlog, who is one of the organizers for a movie trivia night event. Zach, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Amelia. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. Did you want to give us some details about what's going to happen at the event, where it's going to take place, all of those details?
Yeah, sure. So our movie trivia night will be happening at 664 Victoria Avenue here in Windsor. That is the location of the former downtown Mission. And also, this event is basically to fund the film camp for kids and youth to help underprivileged children go to film camp. So we're really excited to be taking part of it.
That's very nice. How much are tickets when it comes to pricing?
So tickets are $15 in advance, $20 at the door, or $40 for a team of 4. And the event goes from 6 to 8:30. So lots of great time to get to learn some movie trivia.
Sounds like a great time. I might be coming myself. Just a reminder for the folks listening today, what day is that?
So it's going to be April 20th, again at 664 Victoria Avenue, and you can get your tickets online at Zeffy. All the information is there. Just type in Movie Trivia Night on Facebook.
All right. Thank you, Zach, so much. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
It really is important that you take part in this event because, I mean, there's just so many kids who just really want to they have a passion for film, and this really can help them go if they can't afford it.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach. Back to you in the studio, Riley.
Netflix is cracking down on their rules and regulations. Juan Jung reports.
The recent change in Netflix sharing policy has been met with negative reaction from subscribers. I have heard from some students who are enjoying Netflix with account sharing. What are your thoughts on the Netflix account sharing change?
So my thoughts on Netflix account sharing means it should not be banned because a lot of the audience are students, I guess, because many of them don't have capabilities to subscribe to Netflix, so they have just refer some of the friends' IDs to watch some kind of cool stuff. And right now,
Well, I feel like Netflix has pretty much gone on the wayside in the last few months with their new sharing policy. I think when it comes down to it, it's not going to be good financially. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not for their new policy, and they'll come to realize by the end of the year that it wasn't a good idea. They'll reverse their decision.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Juhan Chung.
Easter is celebrated in many different ways all over the world. Soha Asfahani reports.
Hey honey, are you ready to welcome the bunny? It's the time of the year where groceries, stores, and supermarkets fill up with chocolate, eggs, and decorations for Easter. While every country has its traditions, let's see the difference between Easter in Lebanon and Easter in Canada.
In Lebanon, mamoul is one of the most renowned Lebanese delicacies, prepared especially for Easter. It consists of an assortment of shortbread made of semolina, sugar, butter, rose water, and orange blossom water. The shortbreads are filled with either dates, walnuts, or pistachios, and sometimes covered with icing sugar. In some countries, people celebrate Easter by doing an egg hunt on Easter Sunday. In Lebanon, the tradition is a little more different. Egg matches. Members of the family gather after the Easter Sunday lunch. Each one chooses a colored boiled egg. They next proceed to an egg match. The winner is the one who beats all the rest. These eggs are prepared around 2 days before Sunday. In Canada, like Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny brings gifts, chocolate, and eggs that he hides for children to find on Easter Sunday. Decorating eggs is also a fun activity. Easter egg hunts, where children look for eggs hidden outdoors, are also quite popular. Easter lunch in Lebanon is known for its attachment to family and traditions. The usual dishes served is turkey and lamb chops. Easter dinner in Canada usually centered around ham and turkey and family getting together for dinner. Happy hunting and happy Easter. I'm Saas Fahani for MediaPlex News.
It's Easter Seals Telethon time. Here is a story of one person who has benefited from the good work they do.
As producers sit in their seats, technicians turn on their cameras, and hosts take their position, Windsor embarks to do something special. It's the annual Easter Seals Telethon. Through donations, the telethon provides financial assistance for families of children with physical disabilities. And so far, things seem to be going quite smoothly.
Make sure you come down, you can make a donation as well, but pick up the phone and call. We need to hear those phones ring. 519-251-0007. We're going to head over and find out how we're doing on the Angel Board.
When I was first born, the doctors took me away from my mom, and they wouldn't tell her anything about what was going on, and she was 17 at the time, so she was very frightened.
And when she was first born, we weren't aware of any issues throughout my whole pregnancy. When she was born, the doctors just essentially said, call a specialist, and out the room she went.
Morgan was born with scoliosis, a condition which causes a person's spine to curve abnormally. But that wasn't the only problem.
So I had 2 surgeries on my left hand and then a surgery on my right hand.
The way her hands were positioned, she had 3 fingers on each side. So we had to bring the first digit down and rotate it so that she could oppose instead of scissor. Following that, she had a surgery on each hand, one of which she had to have a cast from fingertip to shoulder.
And going to school with that on, you could clearly see that I had one on. So kids would make fun of that.
It was hard having her come home and tell us that children were bullying her. The biggest one that sticks out in my mind was she was at a daycare, and one of the little children there was calling her an alien because she only had the 3 fingers, and it broke my heart.
Morgan is an important part of Easter Seals Ontario. During 3 different years, she's been the ambassador of the organization. But at the Easter Seals Telethon, she's been given a different but familiar role.
It's very nerve-wracking too, because you're surrounded by like 30 other people and they're all talking on the phone, and then you get a phone call and you're like, oh my gosh, and then you pick it up and you feel like you're gonna say something wrong. So I usually write out like a script to read, and it kind of helps, but then I feel like I'm gonna stutter or something, so it's pretty scary, but then I get through it. So
when Morgan was 7, her mom Heather got her involved with Easter Seals Ontario, and she's been there for every surgery. As for her dad, well, her dad left Morgan and her mom high and dry when she was born. Morgan remained without a father figure in her life until she turned 12.
So he also helped me with my confidence, and he made me realize that I'm okay and I don't have to worry about what other people think of me, because he found me absolutely perfect.
My favorite quality from her, she doesn't seem to give up. Right? I've been through a lot of stuff and it just kind of dropped me, but everything she's been through is so much worse, and she just keeps going on and not giving up has given me the ability to keep going and not give up with stuff either. So she's kind of my rock.
Morgan has defied every doctor who has said she wouldn't be able to walk or even perform small tasks like using scissors. But on the financial side, Easter Seals Ontario has lightened the load for Morgan and her family.
Going to Toronto, that's where I had all of my surgeries. So we would have to pay for a hotel and gas money, which got really expensive, especially going up every couple of months. So Easter Seals helped us afford that. So with the money that they raised from telethons, they give it to my mom so we could afford a hotel and like food and everything.
And it's not just Morgan's family. Money raised during the annual event has paid for walkers, wheelchairs, and communication devices for children in need. It also provides a once-in-a-lifetime summer camp experience for physically disabled children to experience playing basketball, sledge hockey, and even swimming. With Morgan's phone calls having wrapped up, she now heads for the back to watch her favorite moment of the telethon take place.
The end of every telethon, when they present the big check and they show how much money we were able to raise, because everybody just comes together and we all start cheering, and it's really positive and it's so nice.
Now all that's left for her is to enjoy the little moments in life. Because when you've been through it all, and you've got the right people by your side, anything is possible. For MediaPlex News, I'm Sanjay Maru.
Let's head back outside where the birthday girl Amelia is standing by with her 3-day forecast. Amelia?
Thanks again, Riley. Let's get on with it. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is going to be rain, thunder, lightning, and a high of 21. Thursday, we'll be seeing a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 11, and then we'll be celebrating Good Friday. It'll be sunny and a high of 12. That's it from me on the corner of Victoria and University. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Amelia. For a blast from the past, let's join Zach for a new edition of Did You Know?
On Tecumseh Road West sits an old bowling alley and entertainment center that was a staple of Windsor. So when did this bowling alley that was considered the largest in Canada end up in the gutter and seeing its last frame? I'll tell you in this edition of Did You Know? The Bolero was owned by the Rubin family in the 1960s, and what was once a 50-lane bowling alley increased to 74, making it the largest bowling center in all of Canada. Now, Bolero was at its height in the 1970s and 80s when people were out bowling at least 5 nights a week. With the closure, it left only 2 10-pin bowling alleys remaining, Rev's Rose Bowl on Dougal and Super Bowl Lanes in Forest Glade. To this day, it is still unclear what will become of this once prominent bowling alley, leaving it to sit derelict in a distant memory of what was considered a fun night with family and friends. For MediaPlex News, I'm Zachary Balog.
Cryptocurrency has been in the news a lot this past year, and it is still a mystery to many of us. We have this report from Bernard Duval.
The bank did it again, raised their costs. Transactions take ages and cross-border transfers are riddled with regulations and hidden costs. Isn't there a better way of doing it?
An increasing number of people are raising this question. Cryptocurrency, best known for Bitcoin, is attempting to offer a solution. But what does it offer?
It's anonymous, quick or quicker than online transactions, operates on basically incorruptible software called blockchain. It's regulated by users and not the bank or government, and up to now, not taxed.
Here in Windsor, Ontario, 3 different entrepreneurs specialize in the 3 different components of cryptocurrency.
All 3 got into the space because of their frustration with the banking system, but mostly they've entered the $700 billion industry, hoping their respective efforts will unearth a digital gold mine. Kevin Roy, a builder by trade, mines cryptocurrency as a hobby.
Well, mining is working for a reward. You want to plug in as much hashing power as you have, send it towards a coin, and you get compensated in that currency.
Ian France markets and sells a coin called ProCurrency, created for a developing online shopping platform.
For a coin to truly be successful in a currency, it needs users, usability, and a purpose.
Joshua Ndolo, a University of Windsor economics graduate, launched the company Amani. They use the open source technology that underpins all cryptocurrencies called blockchain.
We allow for cross-border transactions between two parties, and it's very economical. It costs about $3 when a bank would take $80. Takes you about a day when a bank would take 3 to 4 business days.
Dr. Muharrem Kanyev, University of Windsor Associate Professor of Law, has his reservations about the sudden rise of this trending, unregulated private currency.
What advantages does a cryptocurrency offer an ordinary consumer, and what value proposition does it provide an ordinary consumer that an existing fiat or national currency does not have?
Similar questions were asked of disruptive and mostly unregulated innovations such as Airbnb and Uber, taking a combined bite of almost $1 trillion out of their respective legacy industries. Will cryptocurrencies do the same to the banking system? Cryptocurrency is not the first private currency, and there's a reason why they vanished.
Why did government get into the currency producing business in the first place? Government didn't get into this business because they wanted to get into this business or curb freedoms. They had to get into this business because there was too much economic uncertainty involved with private currencies in the past.
If it bothers you, paying 40 cents for a cup of coffee in the morning and $4 that same afternoon, advocates for cryptocurrency won't just say you're getting it wrong. They'll say you're just not getting it. Let's take a step back. Where does cryptocurrency come from and how does it work? We'll use Bitcoin as an example.
A number of Bitcoins were released by the maker. As the coins are traded, the transactions are encrypted onto a ledger. The process of encryption is performed by miners whose computers solve these encryption problems called hashes. The computer that solves the transaction block first is rewarded for its efforts with a predetermined amount of Bitcoin.
The transaction blocks on Bitcoin take a minimum of 10 minutes to solve. To create a fake one, you'll need to start right from the beginning. It can never catch up to the one everyone agrees is the right one.
Roy grew a profitable mining operation. The equipment he bought online with digital currency with proceeds from mining.
Yeah, well, I just mine whatever's most profitable at the time. There's a calculator online. Basically, it tells me what's most profitable like at that moment.
He's been averaging around $1,200 per month. Roughly 25% goes towards electricity.
As long as I've been in it, it's profitable. You can make 10 times the profit one day, and then a month later, you're making a tenth. It's pretty much a game of throw the most hardware and money at it and you get a return.
It was essentially designed to serve the interests of vendors.
Roy doesn't agree with Kanyev that it's all a vendor-centric model with little or no value to the average customer. But then Roy isn't the average customer.
So if I want to go out for dinner, I can go on a site called coincards.ca and buy a gift card for just about anywhere in Canada with crypto. Restaurants, Home Depot, bookstores. Bitcoin only has value because people decide it has value.
No one understands this better than entrepreneur Ian France.
Now it's just a matter of being able to implement a day-to-day currency that people can use. There's 1,500 coins that are sitting out there, and I would venture to say that 1,400 plus are crap.
The iPro network sells incentivized investor packages ranging from $100 to $6,000. Half of the value of your investment is given back to you in the form of pro currency. Investors are educated on how to open online storefronts where the pro currency is slowly introduced in the form of a rebate system.
They've combined this currency with the education to teach people to open their own stores, accept the coin as well, along with all the major retailers. So they've developed this ecosystem to keep people there utilizing the coin.
The coin's success relies on mass buy-in. France realizes that for this to happen, he needs to forsake some of his libertarian leanings.
I believe that some sort of centralization, some form of regulations will benefit the actual overall digital currency industry.
In the long term, the problem that might arise in a scenario where online storefronts only accept pro currency is monopolization, where the store is the bank, is the user's online wallet and exchange.
Are we simply exchanging one set of intermediaries with another?
All cryptocurrencies are trying to become more consumer-centric. A central characteristic of technological development, however, is its unpredictability.
There's a development of blockchain technology which is something quite apart from the cryptocurrency aspect. And I think that is what is going to have more staying power in the long run.
The potential of this digital innovation was embraced by Joshua Ndolo, the Kenyan national who came to the University of Windsor on an athletic scholarship to study economics.
There was no easy way of transferring money to and from Africa. So I said, why not just try and build an app by myself with my friends? And that led to Amani.
Clients have jumped at the chance of doing cheap blockchain-supported transactions on their platform. Ndolo acknowledges that cryptocurrencies are currently a speculative and dangerous trend.
Because if you have so many people buying into this trend, buying into this craze, you inflate the price, and that could lead to a lot of misfortune. For someone in the Western world who's lived in an environment where the financial system actually works and is functional, but not see the necessity for a new way of doing finance.
It might very well be a marginalized economy that paves the way towards global adoption of cryptocurrencies.
So I think you'll have a lot of countries that have been left back due to their access to financial instruments. It could be a mass movement. It could be an economy that adopts it and does really well, and others look up to it and say, well, they're doing really well over there. Why don't we adopt it over here so that we can keep up or learn from them?
Kanyef is concerned about the absence of consumer protections. If a vendor refuses to reverse a transaction,
I can call my credit card company, they can reverse the transaction, they can help protect my interests. If I'm buying something with cryptocurrency, I'm essentially sending cash in the mail. And I don't necessarily know who I'm doing business with.
But to Ndolo, that's exactly the purpose of peer-to-peer self-regulation.
So anybody who's unethical, anybody who's immoral performing transactions will all be able to spot you and maybe stop doing business with you. Until now, the banks had been doing that. They would check who was fraudulent, they would check all this stuff, but now they don't need to. We can do it for ourselves.
The anonymity and absence of a central regulator are what make investing and using cryptocurrency attractive. It's not impossible that this libertarian utopia can come crashing down in the wink of an eye.
If this becomes more widespread, and if this looks like that it's going to be a vehicle for tax evasion or excessive tax avoidance, then governments will become involved.
The nature of the internet and blockchain is open source and self-regulated, instantaneously evolving sharing platforms. Their very existence is completely dependent on an inclusive and active participatory user community. Out of these reciprocal interactions, a consensus is reached on the value of cryptocurrency.
Despite looming legislation and extreme fluctuations in the value of cryptocurrency, there's money to be made, whether mining, trading, or buying shares in cryptocurrency businesses.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Riley Livingston, and you've been watching MediaPlex News Now.
MediaPlex News Now is a production of the St. Clair College Journalism Program.